So Stolice is a character from Hellavaboss. He's the prince of he's a Galicia. He's a demon prince. He's kind of an important plot character, albeit I ain't gonna be able to really go into that too deeply without getting my video suppressed with demonetization and all that. So yeah, in this video I'm gonna theorize that he's autistic, but the autistic is
First 5 seconds!
Autistic representation is cool.
Oh, and please remember to hit the like button to help me in the algorithm and subscribe if you want more.
One trait he has which is very much autistic is the general degree to which he struggles with social cues. This is often associated with autistic folks. You know, stereotypically, people imagine us not really handling other people's feelings very well, and we're coming off as stiff and robotic. Both of those, by the way, are kind of very variable stereotypes. But anyway, a couple of things, examples of this happening with Stolice are the fact that in Season 2, Episode 6, he insists on reading through all the legal paperwork, completely disregarding the fact that, that Osmodius just wants to sign it because he's worried about Fizzaroli, rightfully so, and he just fails to pick up on that part. And then there's also, in Season 2, Episode 1, he automatically just bows to Blitz without thinking about it, because he's just been like, oh, he bows people, because he's only been around over Galicia, who he's supposed to bow to, because he's a kid. He hasn't really realized the nuance of it being that the imp is below him, and so he's not supposed to bow to him. He's also very academically inclined. In Season 2, Episode 1, we see that he's generally more interested in his books than typical children's games, even freaking out his father but with the whole, like, oh, when horses, with the whole thing where he's talking about the sugar horse-like thing. I am autistic, I cannot handle, this is not autism, this is ADHD, I can't words. Anyway, he freaks out his father by talking about how there's a condition that horses get when they eat too much sugar that breaks their legs. He also freaks out Blitz later by knowing way more than he's expected to about pirates, albeit, now I think about it, Blitz's reaction might just be because it makes the whole robbery thing harder. But anyway, this is kinda an autistic trait. Let me explain. Okay, so there's a thing a lot of autistic people have known as special interests, which are a thing that they obsess over to an insane degree. These things are typically either media or academic stuff. Autistic folks often care more about engaging with that than socializing, and what do you know? Stolice's father buys a friend for him because he doesn't have any friends, because he hasn't put any effort into socializing, but he just wants to read his goddamn books and be autistic about them. Hey, that's even where that little idiom comes from. The final seemingly autistic trait about this character is that he breaks dumb social rules without giving a fuck. Autistic people quite often do this simply because they fail to realize they're there, and if not, they might still do it for several other reasons. For one, struggling to pick up on them might lead to resentment. For two, not picking up on them in that subconscious way often means that people end up being more introspective about them than neurotypicals, and thus questioning them and being like, that's them, I'm gonna break that. And or some of us have conditions like PDS, which generally, yeah, conformance ain't the deal of those types. He quite often breaks norms associated with the upper class, for instance with his general respect towards Blitz and Imp, for context, Imps are the working class of hell, or the fact that he raises his daughter Via as like a normal middle class kid, but like with tons of money, as opposed to insisting that she acts all ladylike the way that the Galicia women seem to act in general, or the fact that he's willing to get divorced with Stella, simply because he doesn't love her, and that's that. Of course, all of this evidence is circumstantial. Perhaps he only raises Via as a normal child just because he doesn't want her to experience the trauma he did from being raised all alone by a sociopath, and that's also why he's socially awkward. Perhaps the reasons for him divorcing Stella start and end with her being abusive. Perhaps he just bows to Blitz because he's a dumb kid who hasn't fully learned the rules yet. You know, this is all circumstantial evidence that's not necessarily true, but putting all of it together, it does form a pretty compelling narrative. Plus, this ain't exactly academic. This is just a reading of a TV show. And, you know, it's interesting to think about, you know? Plus, autistic people don't get good representation often, so we have a habit of trying to see ourselves in shows, and sometimes it fits off gypsy well, like in this case. So, this is why I headcanon the character of Stolice from Hellavaboss as being autistic, eh? So, I haven't uploaded a proper video for nearly a quarter of a year. I think it's the biggest hiatus I've ever been on since I started YouTube in 2021.
Yeah, some of that was because exams, and that was a big deal and taking up my time, but that ended a month ago. Since then, I've just been depressive, kind of burned out, not able to get anything done, not able to figure out how to get anything done. Not sure if I even still want to do this video, if I still care. Then it's like, oh yeah, Full Moon came out, I can release this a bit after that to kind of tie in with that. And now Apology Tour came out 3 weeks after that, it's like, oh, oops. And then, now nearly 2 weeks later, I've finally gotten this out. And I think I've got to figure out another video soon. Life, man, it's amazing, ain't it?